Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's that kid Greg back again with another off the cuff video, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too happy this weekend. Um this so if you guys don't know, there have been riots going on in Milwaukee, Wisconsin due to a police shooting involving an armed suspect who a officer was chasing down after a traffic stop gone wrong. The police stopped the guy and another one in his car. One officer chased down one of the men who had a stolen gun. So it wasn't like he had a legal firearm, or it might have been legal, or he didn't have a firearm. He had a firearm that was stolen, and the officer according to the officer, there was a confrontation, and he was forced to draw and fire his weapon, and this resulted in the man being killed. Um, a few hours after this happened, protesters began filling the streets, and they set several things on fire. There was a gas station set on fire. There was a bank. Several cars were smashed up, destroyed, set on fire. And there were also reports from Twitter that I haven't seen this hit the news yet, but there were reports on Twitter that there were people pulling white people out of their cars and assaulting them. And there's also a video of the protesters chanting Black Power outside of the burning gas station. And I will put a clip of that if I can find a nice clean copy. Can I just say how much this pisses me off? Like, and real talk for a second. Like, I'm just gonna go off a little bit. So apologies if I say anything that might hurt somebody's feelings, but I'm just really upset. What is wrong with you niggas? Seriously. Like, y'all wonder why people look at the black community and say shit like, "Oh, you guys are animals." Like, what do you think is gonna happen when y'all act like this? And before I hear anybody in the comments like, "Oh, white people riot over stupidness like sports and stuff," it doesn't matter what they do, right? It matters what you do. It matters about how you're reflected. Look, apparently there was a body cam on this cop, so we're gonna get the information soon. We'll be able to see it and judge for ourselves soon. But until then, like, what are you doing? What do you do? This man was a criminal. They said his arrest sheet was ridiculous already. And now y'all in the streets running around causing a havoc. And this is what it gets me so mad, because I don't think there should be a freaking protest in quotation marks, because this is not a protest. This is straight up people wilding out. There shouldn't be one for every shooting that happens by a policeman, and if the victim is black. Because obviously, I mean, in this case, this was not an innocent person being shot. This is not some unarmed dude being shot. This was a case of the police having to take action because they were dealing with a criminal. So why are y'all acting up like this? Seriously. This gets me so upset whenever this stuff happens. Because I don't see y'all raising a ruckus when it's black people shooting black people. I don't see y'all raising a ruckus when little kids get shot and nothing like that. No, it's only when the police do it. Like, y'all need to, like, look, I'm not a big fan of the police. I live in New York. The police, a lot of the police officers out here are assholes. But y'all gotta remember, like, yo, that's not how we get things done, right? When MLK and them was marching, the main reason why they wasn't acting up is because they knew that could be turned against them. They knew that in a racist's eyes, that would just be a self-fulfilling prophecy if they acted wild. Even the freaking Black Panthers, who are notorious for, oh, they were violent, they were violent, they were quote unquote terrorist organization. They were always organized. They never used force unless it was absolutely necessary. So what are y'all doing? Attacking random civilians? Causing fires, wrecking shit up in the streets? Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? On another note, going back to the first point that I was trying to make, not every person that gets shot up by the police is innocent. You know, the last time that I felt like something was worth protesting over, I mean, we had Trayvon. I still like George Zimmerman is a criminal. Let's face it. Like, I personally think that him not going to jail was bullshit. Like, he should have gone to jail for that, and that was totally fucked up. You know, Freddie Gray dying in the back of the police van. To me, that was no coincidence either. But it also wasn't a reason to fuck shit up in Baltimore. And then we had Eric Garner. We had protests over here for Eric Garner's death, but they weren't wrecking shit in the city. They weren't trying to fuck up the whole city. They made station protests, held up the city. They made us did some marches up in the streets, but they weren't destroying anything. You know why? Because we live here. You live there. What do you think is gonna happen when you burn everything down? And this is the whole point for this video is like, just because you're angry doesn't mean you have to act out. That doesn't mean it justifies acting out and acting crazy. Use that anger, use that energy for something productive. Put that energy into something where you can actually see real change. Put that energy into, we need the cops to be held accountable. We need to have more transparency with our police department. We need to be able to get these body cam footage and stuff earlier when these things happen. And even then, in this situation, that doesn't really count because, one, the guy had a body camera, and two, the riots literally started like a few hours after the man was shot. There was like, one of the guys who was recalling his experience said that people literally right after this happened, he got a call and said, hey, people are down here and they're mad, you should come. A protester. Like, y'all not even waiting for facts to come out. Y'all not even waiting for information to come in, and y'all already wilding out. What does that say about you? That you're willing to make a decision and hurt people and destroy things with no information, without any knowledge of what's actually going on? Seriously. And it gets me so riled up. And I know you guys can hear it in my voice. I'm usually very calm and chilled out with these videos or these off the cuffs that I do, but this is just really like, brah fucking vo. Absolutely. You know, it makes no sense. And honestly, it gets to the point where you gotta wonder, like, what is it gonna take? And I'm talking specifically to the black community. Like, what is it gonna take for us to grow up? What is it gonna take for us to realize that if the odds are already against us, we shouldn't be making it worse? You know what I mean? No one denies that white people have had a head start on us. No one denies that. No one denies that slavery happened. No one denies that racists exist. Except racists maybe. But no one denies any of the problems that face us externally. But how come whenever somebody wants to point out the problems that face us internally, y'all want to make a fuss about it? Oh, you don't understand. It's white supremacy. It's white supremacy. No. White supremacy doesn't cause black on black crime. That's not how that works. All right? White supremacy doesn't make you go steal a gun from somebody's house. White supremacy doesn't make you go take 500 rounds of ammo. I don't what is your reasoning? What is your reasoning? Honestly, I cannot with this. And this was I'm waiting to see what BLM says about this, what Black Lives Matter says about this. Because they just put out, I covered their list of demands in my last off the cuff, and they say, oh, we need this community to be safe, and we need to not have our people be shot and killed in the streets. I would love to see what they say about this one. Because those types of people, the people who are constantly protesting and never offer a real solution, yeah, they have goals, but they didn't offer any plans on how to reach them. So those type of people who always got something to say and never have any way to achieve it, I'd love to see how they want to respond to this one. Because apparently the dude was already a criminal. Seriously, we need to stop acting like that, like every person who gets shot up by the police is innocent. It's not okay. That's not how things work in the real world. And I'm sitting on the edge of my seat just waiting to see what happens with this one. I don't want this to be too long. Last week I did like 40, it was over an hour before I edited it down. And that video was still like 45 minutes. So I don't feel like taking too long on this one. But honestly, if more news comes out during the week, I'll follow up on this one with a more clear-cut idea as to what I would like to see and what I would like to say. And there was, according to some, this was a long time coming, because there's been a lot of racial tension in that area of Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, with police coming after black people in black communities or whatever. But that doesn't give you free reign to destroy other people's livelihoods. How many jobs did you destroy from the people who worked at that gas station, from the people who worked at that bank? How many jobs did you take away from them? How are they supposed to put food on their tables? How are they supposed to keep the lights on? Because in case you haven't noticed, poverty breeds crime. When there's no jobs, when there's no money, that's where crimes come from. That's when people go and do these extreme things to try and get ahead, to try and make something. And what happens when there's more crime around? Police officers have to show up. Police officers have to be around. And statistically, you're gonna get a few racists around you too that you may not like, or people that you don't like in general, whatever color they are, whatever ideology they hold. Like, people get mad at dudes like Giuliani who say, look, the black community needs to address many of its issues before they can start blaming police officers for all their problems. And while Giuliani may not be the best guy in the world, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. We need to look at our own before we sit there and say, no, it was them. What are you doing? What are you doing to make things better? What are you doing to make sure that you don't contribute to this nonsense, this violence? Ask yourself that. But that's all I gotta say for this one. I'll see you guys in the next video on Thursday, and I'll talk to you again next week in the next Off the Cuff. Take care.